there's so much to Native identity. It starts before you're even born. I mean, we know that when we come as Anishinaabe, when we come to this earth, we come from the stars. When we leave this earth, we're going back to the stars, and then that star, we have a journey that we take, and then we go back to the heaven above, if we've lived the life the Creator has intended for us. But along with that Native identity, I mean, it starts before you are born and come onto this earth. You were able, they say, 7 generations before you're born, they even have your spirit name for you, ready for you. They know what you're going to look like. They know all of that stuff about you. And one of the most beautiful things I think about Anishinaabe people is that we are dream walkers. And in being in the spirit of dream walkers, it means that not everybody has this, but some of us do have it and use it more than others. But we have the ability while we're sleeping for our spirit to walk, and our spirit travels and will take us to different places. For example, sometimes my star brothers and sisters will come and they will take me to the stars. And it's such a beautiful time when I get up there to the stars. I can see them as clearly as day. And I'm just there with them in spirit. And when I wake up the next morning, I feel so relaxed and peaceful. And so it's connecting to yourself, knowing your clan. Like mine is the Ojawi Makuns Makwa. That is the little brown bear clan. And knowing that clan and what that clan is able to do. Knowing your warrior, I have a warrior inside of me, and that's the gray horse warrior. That warrior protects me. And also knowing I carry the Wendigo Khan, the backward spirit, and also my spirit name, White Thunderbird Woman. Having all of those inside of me and knowing how to work with them to balance them out so that I can be a balanced person. And knowing, a big part of Native identity is that prayer. And just like I seen my grandfather praying every morning with his Sema, praying to the east, praying in Ojibwe, Gishimanatu, a singing voice, Chima Gwech Awendam Nun Gum. Creator, I thank you for this day, and I'm grateful to be a part of it. So that is the prayer. Simple. Mitakiase, all my relatives. And then away Maganag, all my relatives. Simple prayers. You don't have to have a formalized prayer. You don't have to know a formalized prayer. You don't have to hold a cross. You don't have to have sage in your hand. You don't have to have tobacco in your hand. All you have to have is an honest heart and mind, and be honest with the Gishimanatu, with the Creator. Honest with God, and say what's in your heart and your mind, and always pray your heart and your mind to work together. Our Native people went through horrific stuff. A lot of things came to them and sometimes overcame them. But I think a big part of Native identity is to know that you come from rich beautiful, proud people, a proud past, and in that is your native identity, to connect with it, to know who you are, to know your language of your relatives, and to use that, because in your language is the stories of how we came to be here, and your relative stories, and being able to take all of that and to be able to teach that to your children and your grandchildren, so that that language continues to live and our identity continues to live. So it's just a big part of who we are, and just knowing how to use, that gift, knowing your gift. I went on the vision quest and learned, more about myself each time. And I had dreams while I was growing up, understanding my dreams. I continue to dream even to this day yet. I think that maybe I'm done now, I don't have to worry too much about things. Then the Creator will bring me another dream and say, well, it's time for this. And you, as a Native person, you can say yes or no to your dreams. You can wait a while on your dream. You don't have to answer it right away. You can have it interpreted. It's really up to you how you decide to do those things, because oftentimes as Native people, we don't have, moms and dads, grandparents, relatives that can help us along our way. But we do have one thing that I think that's important. You have elders out there. Go and sit with the elders, bring them tobacco, bring them a small gift, and just say to them, can you tell me, did you know my parents? You got to tell them who your parents are, of course, but maybe you don't know. Because I've ran into people that didn't know who one of their parents were, or all their parents, both of their parents, or even their grandparents, but they know that they're Native, and they'll help you along the way. But I think the biggest thing is to identify and know your gift, what your gifts are, and to use those, to help yourself. And when I teach beadwork, I always tell the students that this beading that you're doing, that can give you a gallon of gas, that can give you a gallon of milk. So learn how to, ways that you can provide for yourself and your family. I think those are important things. In seeing this, knowing your Native identity, maybe that's all you want to do is powwow. But along that way, you're going to be learning stuff to go with that powwow. You have to, it's like building blocks. You have to build those blocks. Same thing with your education. You have to build those blocks. You have to continually learn, because your learning doesn't stop. When you pass on to this, from this world, your learning continues even on to the next world. And, I just am so grateful that there were elders that continued the good fight to keep our Native identity. And one of them here is Francis Old Eagle Heart Cree and his wife Rose. They are, people that believed in our way of life and continued with it. I have to say Chimagwech to a singing voice, Mushum, a singing voice, my grandfather, and Two Thunders Coming, who was my mother, and a Blue Sky Man, because they are people that helped to shape my beliefs about, who we are. It doesn't mean that we're better than anybody else. It never means that. It just means that, you have an identity there. You need to know who you are, and certainly love the Creator, because in loving that Creator, you're going to be able to love yourself, and then you will become to know love too. Miigwech.